Hey, you. Yeah, you. In case you hadn't heard, your favorite Renegade Sports Media Group has its own Patreon. Go to patreon.com/Vendetta Sports Media to support our efforts to continuously bring you sports, gaming, and other media coverage as only we can. We've got 4 different membership tiers. For $3 a month, we'll give you a simple thank you on our Patreon site. For $6 a month, you get a thank you and you get to become a recruit in Jackson Law's Vendetta University Gaming Series. For $10 a month, you get everything from the previous tiers, a special thank you at the end of our videos, free access to our upcoming Discord chat, and a free koozie after 4 months. And then the big dog, $50 a month, gets you everything from the previous tiers, as well as opportunities for Fantasy League invites, stream gaming, possible invites to mock NFL and NBA draft sessions, a once-a-month Google Hangout, and after 4 months, a free t-shirt. Yeah! Go to patreon.com/Vendetta Sports Media and help us to improve our pledge to bring you the best sports, gaming, and other media coverage. What's going on, Tannimals? It's I, Brian Tan, and this is the Tanndemonium Sports Show here on Vendetta Sports Media. With me, as always, oh man, you know what? I don't even have it in me right now, J-Law. I really don't.
I could be really mean, and I was gonna say the Mike Pouncey to your Big Ben.
Ooh, that's so cruel. Marquise Pouncey, man. You know what? All right, let's just get it out the way. You know, why don't we do that? Let's just get it out the way. So we talked about it last week. First of all, before I get too deep into this, I want to throw straight out congratulations, absolute congratulations to the Cleveland Browns team, the Cleveland Browns organization, the Dog Pound, and all fans of Browns Nation, all fans of the Cleveland Browns. Hey, congratulations. You guys did it. You guys came into Pittsburgh and you owned us. You have not done that, and I don't know how long. I know I was real young. Matter of fact, the last time that I remember, Jackson Law, the Cleveland Browns coming into Pittsburgh and whooping ass, 1989. Cleveland Browns won 52-0. That is the last time I remember such a shellacking of that magnitude.
Yeah, was it like the first time they've beaten Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh? I think it's 17 games.
Over 17 games. Yeah. Oh, more. I mean, yeah, it's been a lot of games. Yeah. Yeah, Christian, if you can, Christian, look that up for us. Benny the Jet Rodriguez in the production booth there. But yeah, man, I mean, God, the Cleveland Browns have secured their first playoff win since 1994. 1994. God, Jackson Law, were you even born?
I wasn't born yet.
You weren't even born yet.
I'm a 95 baby.
Yeah, you weren't even born yet. The last time the Cleveland Browns won in Pittsburgh, 2003. So 18 years. 18 years it's been since the Cleveland Browns won in Pittsburgh. And 9 years before that was their last playoff win. That is huge. Again, congratulations. Baker Mayfield showed himself off to be a franchise quarterback in this game. Yes or no, J-Law?
I mean, when you've got the weapons that he has,
it's good.
I mean, I've seen enough of Baker so far. Not to say that he can't get better. It's just that he needed better coaching. Freddie Kitchens was not the guy. I don't know why they elevated him last season, but they got him out of there. The system that they've got now seems to be working. We can't just call them the Browns anymore and fully expect them like Juju did, saying the Browns are the Browns. You
Oh
know,
man, he's got there's some venom coming at him. But go ahead, continue what you're saying.
there's been them coming at all of them, man. Especially what Chase Claypool said. You see what Chase Claypool said
Oh,
today? He's like,
Mapletron's even opening his gap. I
which I've
mean,
got more to say. I've got more to say after your little rant. I've got something to say about that.
all I know is
But
this, man. Kevin Stefanski, he had his team ready, despite all the BS. He had his team ready. All the stuff
yeah,
with COVID.
he wasn't even there. He was
You
having to be
know,
at home quarantined. It was the I'm forgetting his name, but he was the
Alex Van Pelt. He used to play quarterback for the Pitt Panthers.
yeah, he's like the
And he
special teams
played for
coach.
he played for the Steelers for a little bit too as backup quarterback. I remember when Van Pelt was at Pitt, everyone thought that he was going to be like the next big thing, and he was yet another washout. But yeah, I mean, Stefanski got his team ready. He got the job done. What happened in Pittsburgh? I'll tell you exactly what the hell happened in Pittsburgh. The Steelers were who everyone said they were. They were frauds.
They are who we thought they were.
The Steelers are who we thought they were. And that's why they took the damn field. If you want to crown them, then crown their ass.
I'm a crown that like the greatest football meme of all time. Anyway, continue.
That is, man. Denny Green flipping out about the Bears. Like there is no better freak out other than playoffs. Playoffs?
or the one where it's like, I'm a man.
Don't come after me. Don't come after those kids. You come at me. It's like, whoa, okay.
That's another great one.
That is
anyway. Continue.
I mean, that's the bottom line is that this Steelers team that they started out as overachievers and they ended as a floundering fake ass franchise. If I recall correctly, and Christian, please correct me if I'm wrong when I make this point, is that the Steelers have only had three playoff wins in a decade. 3. After their loss to the Green Bay Packers in that Super Bowl, I believe it was the 2009 Super Bowl. No, not 2009, because my son was born in 2009. That was the year they played the Cardinals. They went in 2011. 2011. Since 2011.
The only reason why I remember that is because the cover of Madden 10 had Larry Fitzgerald and Troy
Polamalu. Yes.
Yeah, that's the only reason I remember that.
Yep. So yeah, so since that Super Bowl loss, they have only had 3 wins in the playoffs this decade. 3. That's a problem. That is a problem. And then the last 2 appearances in the playoffs, Jay Law, they've given up 45 points. They gave up 45 points to the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2017, and then 45 points on Sunday night. The Steelers had no business in that game. None. The Steelers had no business in that game. I don't care that they had the number 3 seed. They had no business. They did not deserve to be in that position. I'm sorry. When you start 11-0 and then you end at 1-4, I'm sorry, now 1-5. No, you do not deserve to be in the playoffs. They did more than just limp into the playoffs. They dragged themselves like old man Herbert's dog into the playoffs. And oh my God, from the first snap,
literally
from the first snap, it's just, and then oh my God, that 4th and 1 punt. Are you serious?
Yeah.
You gotta go for that.
And
I live tweeted this during the game. I have never been a fire Mike Tomlin guy. I have never been one of those guys that have been calling for his job. Never. Because I think that the way that you build a successful franchise is continuity. However, if Mike Tomlin's ass isn't on the hot seat after these last few years, especially with the fact that there's only been 3 playoff wins in 10 years, if he's not on the hot seat, there's a problem. There's a big problem.
I agree with you. And in fact, that was kind of the thing that I transitioned into. I think like you'll never be able to take away what Mike Tomlin has done as a head coach. I mean, he inherited a great team after Bill Cowher left. Obviously won a Super Bowl with this team and has been to more Super Bowls and has always had, up until the last couple of years, when Big Ben's been hurt and then the multitude of injuries they've had, have been competitive and have dominated their division. But now you've got, obviously the Ravens and the Browns look like they're really finally starting to be on the up and up. This is where we thought the Browns were supposed to be last year, and then they left a brown stain out there in the 2019-2020 season, but now they're finally starting to play like how they're supposed to play. But I do think it is time for I'm just going to say culture change for the Steelers. And when I say culture change, I don't mean like breaking away from the identity of the Pittsburgh Steelers, the winningest franchise in the NFL. Like the core of what that team has been for 40 plus years. I'm not saying change that. You have to change that overnight. What I mean is that Tomlin has been a very player-centric type of coach, and I don't think that can work in the NFL. You can get away with it in a league like the NBA, in a sport like the NBA, because you have people like Tyronn Lue that's winning championships. You got Steve Nash that, even though he's got more credentials than what other people are giving him credit for, because he was an assistant with the Warriors during their big title run. In fact, that's how he got his first ring, and that's how he has that Kevin Durant connection. So that's more than likely why he got the job with the Nets.
Right.
But it's why you have these rookie coaches that walk in and all of a sudden they're competing for championships. And it's because it's a very player-centric and player-driven league. But I don't think you can make that happen in the NFL, because there's too many moving parts and there's too many pieces to a team. You're not talking about a team where in the NBA, when you look at the Lakers, it's LeBron and it's Anthony Davis. And everyone else after that they're good pieces, but they're not mountain movers. Right. In the NFL, you have a 53-man roster where every single person on that roster is important. Your backups are important because it is a sport where guys can go down so quick and they could be injured just like that.
And you got to have next man up.
And it's next man up. You have to have them step up. So that entire 53-man roster is so important. And when I look at the Steelers team, I don't see a team. I see a lot of individuals playing in the same uniform. Yep. I don't necessarily see a team. And why I say that is because they're just out there. They're doing their own things. They're exposing themselves to this criticism. They seem more focused on themselves than they do the team. Yep. When you have Eric Ebron, Chase Claypool, and Juju, they're out here talking all this smack, slacking off, doing all this other stuff, and then when it comes to game time, they're dropping passes. They're not focused. It's the same, obviously fair criticism that OBJ got when the night before a playoff game, he's partying it up on a yacht. And then the very next day is his playoff game and he's dropping every pass.
Right.
So and it's like you think they got away from that when Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell left, but they didn't. It continues to trickle down and continues to fester. And even to an extent, Big Ben has been like that because he throws his teammates under the bus on radio shows. What other quarterback is throwing his players under the bus?
Well, here's my only thing on that. When you're the leader of the team, you've got to be willing to call out your team when they're not doing what they need to do. I mean, should you do it out in public? Probably not.
That's what I'm saying. Right. I'm fine with if it's in the locker room and it's like Big Ben pulls Eric Ebron. It's like, dude, shut up on Twitter and catch the stupid ball.
And there definitely need to be more to catch the ball. Right. And there definitely need to be more of that this year. I mean, here's the thing. And I believe we talked about this. I don't really care about the whole Juju dancing on the logo thing. I don't really care. If the kid wants to dance around and whatever, let him dance around. Fine. But you've got to be able to back it up on the field. And if you're not backing it up on the field, you're a clown.
Mm-hmm.
Eric Ebron. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying. I've seen a lot of people over the past couple of days like solely blame that loss on Juju.
Oh, no.
That loss is solely not on
just
Juju.
Juju's
He doesn't deserve all that blame. No. He doesn't.
And that's actually what I was going to say. For one, if you think that this is all going to be, I'm going to rip on Juju, well, you're half right. I am going to say something about Juju. I will say something about Juju. But it's not just Juju. And if you want to make it just Juju, I'm going to tell you to shut your mouth. Shut up.
Yeah. So I know I went on a pretty long tangent there, but I just wanted to explain that.
Like you're the only one on this show to go on a long tangent.
But this isn't my team. That's the thing. Tangent. This isn't my team. Why do I care so much about the Steelers?
Because I care. Because I care. That's
no, why. You are my friend. So yes, yeah. I have become to care about them. But just that I do think it's time to move on from Tomlin. Doug Peterson got a couple extra years more. He's my favorite punching bag. There's rumors that Doug Peterson may become the new head coach of the Jets. I would love that because then that's just like, you mean I'm upset because Adam Gase is now out of my division with a divisional rival, but now I get Doug Peterson in his place. It's like, that's a pretty good consolation prize.
Yeah. I'm curious about, like, honestly, I think though that I think the stink's going to be on Doug Peterson for a little while.
Yeah. But just real quickly, just want to say, Mike Tomlin needs to move on from them. They need to get a new coach in there. If Big Ben stays one more year, then you got to go out and you got to get like a Sam Darnold or someone. You've got to get the next heir, or you've got to pick up someone in the draft.
I'm going to go with it on this. Should Tomlin go? Probably not. He needs to be on the hot seat. I think Finkner needs to go. I think that Keith Butler needs to go. And you need to bring in an offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator that are actually calling plays. Not Ben, not Tomlin. Let the coordinators call the plays. And like Tomlin also has the input. They say, hey, coach, we need to run this. Run that. Something like that. Yeah. But the coordinators need to be there getting these guys ready because I'm sorry, the defense stalled out at the end of the season the same as the offense did. It's just
there's no run game.
There's no run game. And that's another reason why you need to get rid of Randy Fichtner because of the fact that that's on Tomlin, that's on Fichtner. You need to get a good, and the thing is though, is that you need to go out and you need to start dedicating your draft and your free agency to getting a solid offensive line and a solid backup offensive line. And then you're also going to need to start shoring up your defensive line. Tyson Alualu is 33 years old. Cam Hayward is in his 30s. Stephon Tuitt has had so many major injuries. Who knows how much longer you're going to have him? You need to shore up both the offensive and defensive lines. First and foremost, Big Ben needs to retire. He needs gone. I don't care that he went 47 for 68 for 501 yards and 4 touchdowns, and he also threw 4 picks. Ben needs to ride off into the sunset. You need to get a Sam Darnold in here, or you need to draft somebody else. And if Ben needs to restructure his contract.
The following broadcast is brought
so that you can get a Sam Darnold in
XP
here.
Coffee Company.
Let Sam
XP
learn
Coffee
under
Company
Ben
is the fresh
for
brewed coffee
and
made for gamers by gamers.
That's what
Get amazing flavors like Choco Loco in 8, 12, or 16-ounce bags, or level up and get Illusion,
no more excuses.
Isolation, Nightmare, or the Majestic Throne blends in light, medium, or dark roast in whole bean, coarse French press, drip, or fine espresso in 12-ounce, 16-ounce, or 2-pound bags. Wow! Shipping worldwide. If you're in the U.S., go to usa.xpcoffee.co. If you're in Europe or in the UK, go to www.xpcoffee.co. XP Coffee Company for gamers by gamers.
Even if Mason Rudolph is going to be the quarterback next year, guess what? Sure up the offensive line. Sure up the defensive line. Get us another serviceable running back because I'm sick of Benny Snell. Love James Conner to death, but he ain't getting it done either. And if he is going to get it done, he needs a good offensive line to be able to do it. That being said, we're going to move on to more wild card talk.
It's the Tanndemonium Sports Show on Vendetta Sports Media. We're going to take a quick moment for a quick message from our sponsors, and then we're going to be right back. Went a little bit over. All right, we're back, Tanimals. So, looks like Drew Brees is moving on. That's right. The Saints steamrolled the Chicago Bears 21-9.
Easy breezy.
That's a good one. I like that.
Beautiful cover girl.
That was, and you know what? My douche of the week. Oh, before I will say this though, and this is then I'm done. Eric Ebron needs to shut his damn mouth. Chase Claypool needs to shut his mouth. This ain't college, kid. Mapletron. This ain't college. You could probably get away with talking that smack at the Notre Dame campus newspaper. Don't run your mouth now. You done lost. Shut up and move on. Because now I'm going to laugh my ass off if the Browns beat the Chiefs next week. I will laugh my ass off. Because the bottom line is, look, until you producing on the field is one thing. When you actually produce to the point that you're getting results, then you can talk smack. But guess what? You don't have a reason to talk smack because you've already done yours. Anyway, so Drew Brees, 265 yards in the air, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. But you know who I feel most bad about in that Bears-Saints game? Mr. Mitchell Aloysius Trubisky.
Aloysius.
Yeah. Everyone's middle name is Aloysius to me, I guess. I don't know why. But Mitch Trubisky, man. Dude, Mitch Trubisky looked pretty damn good in this game to me. Of the bits of this game that I was able to watch and keep my eyes on, especially that pass in the first quarter to Javon Wims, that should have been a dime. Trubisky put that between the numbers, over the shoulder, between the numbers, and it's just, like seriously, it was almost like the ball had razor blades on it. He didn't even try to put his hands on it. The hell was that? I'm telling you, if he catches that pass, that game is a much different ball game. Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not much of a Trubisky fan. I'm looking at the stats right here, and just so you know, Trubisky played a full game through 29 times, had a QBR of 13.1. Taysom Hill had a QBR of 10, just 3 points less, and he didn't throw anything. He was sacked 1 time and had 3 points less of a QBR than Mitch Trubisky, who threw a whole game.
19 to 29 for 199 yards and a touchdown. But I mean, come on. That should have been he should have 2 touchdowns. He should be 20 of 29 for 230 some odd yards.
That should have been caught. That was inexcusable.
I seriously feel like that if Wims makes that catch instead of he didn't sucker punch anybody this time around. But if Wims would have made now what's worse is that he made a really spectacular catch on the sideline before that drop. If Wims makes that catch, this game looks different. Do the Saints still win? Sure. But it looks like a hell of a lot better of a game. Honestly, I see Mitch. I don't see Mitch lasting in Chicago much longer, but I do see him going somewhere and being a serviceable player. He's going to have to go somewhere with a good coach, with good coaching. I mean, who knows? Maybe he'll be a serviceable backup somewhere. Who knows? But
backup, yeah, I could see him being an okay backup, someone you bring in a game, maybe.
I see him.
Chicago has to run a really gimmicky offense to make it work for Mitch, and it somewhat works because they got hot there at the end, but it was like technically the only reason why they got into the playoffs is because the Cardinals imploded and lost, which that was mostly due to Kyler Murray getting injured.
Right.
But I've just never believed in this Bears team, even when they were hot at the beginning of the season. I've said it all season long. I said, don't buy into it. They're not real. And then when the game,
the Steelers of the NFC.
Yeah. And then when the game starts, for whatever reason, like on my phone, I'm not subscribed to it in the slightest, but I get notifications from the Chicago Bears subreddit for whatever reason, and people are like, we're gonna win this, we got this, or it's like, let's show them who the Bears really are.
Well, they are who we thought they were.
Yeah, the Bears showed us who they were.
Yes, they
showed us who they were.
Yep. And
people are like, Deshaun Watson needs to go to Chicago, and it's like,
why?
No, that's going from bad to bad. 2.0.
Yeah. And you know what? Deshaun Watson is not going to be in Chicago. And you know what? Deshaun Watson is not going to be in Pittsburgh either. Stop. If anything, Deshaun Watson's going to end up in New Orleans. I'm going to call it.
Or Miami?
No. Miami's not going to go for Deshaun Watson because they have Tua Tagovailoa. Tua is the future of that franchise. I don't see Flores going to get. I don't see Flores doing to Tua what's been done to Josh Rosen. I don't see that. If he does do that, then now you got to wonder where's Tua going to go. Because he'd
go to Houston. So the trade package. So the rumors are that Watson has a no trade clause in his contract, and he would waive it if it meant that he went to Miami, and in return, Houston got Tua and draft compensation, which would probably be the equivalent of 2 first-round picks and more picks sprinkled in other drafs in both this draft and future.
All right, that I could see that making sense. I can see
that because Tua technically is a first-round pick. He was the number 5 pick, top 5 pick at least last year. So it's technically 3 first-round picks.
That makes sense. All right, back on topic though. I mean, going back, I want to shift it back to Drew Brees and the Saints. That was a great game. They executed an amazing game plan. Alvin Kamara looked amazing with not practicing for how long. And then you want to talk about, I don't think I've ever seen a quarterback as on point with his receivers as Drew Brees. Who's the guy that he caught? I think it was the first touchdown. And they said that he hadn't caught a touchdown in almost a full season because he had gotten hurt. Is that Michael Thomas?
Yeah, it was Mike Thomas.
Yeah. I mean, Drew Brees this league is going to be way different without him under center. If he's done now, is it official? Is he officially done at the end of this year?
I think it's just kind of like an understood thing. Like nothing official has come out, but it's like all the announcers and everyone that's in kind of like in those media circles, they're obviously heavily focused on Brees. And so it's almost like a Dirk Nowitzki kind of thing, if you remember that from a few years ago. Hadn't said he'd retired, but everyone was giving him, the last hurrah standing ovation treatment.
Right. And I'll tell you what, man, that has us set up real good for this next round of playoff games. I do want to keep the topic on there, but I'm excited to see Brees versus Brady in the playoffs. I am excited for that game. And honestly, whoever wins that game, no matter who wins, we win because in the NFC Championship, it's going to be the Packers and whoever wins out of these two teams, obviously. And that's going to be an amazing game. But on the AFC side, we're going to jump back to the NFC in a second. But my new team, the Bills, man. The Bills.
Hashtag Bills Mafia.
Yeah, man. Hashtag Bills Mafia. Hey, congratulations, Bills Mafia. Your first playoff game since 1995. That's what's up. Josh Allen balling out.
He's a baller, dude.
He really is. How dumb do folks feel counting Josh Allen out?
Probably very dumb. There's still Josh Allen like haters and disbelievers out there.
Well, because they're idiots. They're idiots.
And I mean, you let him develop and you get him a wide receiver, and all of a sudden he's a dark horse MVP candidate. Now he won't win the MVP. That's probably going to Rodgers, but he's got the numbers to back it up. He's really got the team to make noise.
Exactly. He's got an amazing defense. He has a great offense. 26 of 35 for 324 yards and 2 touchdowns. Come on, man.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot wait. Now, I am looking for the Bills, and I'm going to call it right now. Bills are going to spank the Ravens. Bills are spanking the Ravens. I'm happy that, and I'll transition to that into Ravens Titans. I'm cool. I'm glad that it's nice to see Lamar Jackson finally get that elusive playoff win. 179 passing yards, 136 rushing yards, and a rushing touchdown. See, I'm not a big fan of my quarterbacks running for that many yards. I'm really not. I'd really rather my quarterback kill teams with his arm. But, I mean, it works. It works for them. And I think that the Bills and the Ravens are going to be the best game of the AFC slot of the playoffs, while Buccaneers and Saints are going to be the best game on the NFC side. I'm all for those 2 games. I think those are going to be the 2 games that I watch. I didn't get a chance to watch Washington, Tampa Bay, but I did watch Steelers, Browns. I am going to watch Ravens, Bills. I am watching that game, and I'll probably look in on each one of those games, on all 4 of those playoff games, because those games, this is the time of year where there are no bad games. Well, no. Well, I mean, Rams and Packers is the only weakness of that I can see. But I don't I don't care about the Rams. I don't like the Rams. Do I like Aaron Donald? I think Aaron Donald's a freaking monster.
Yeah, they got a good defense. It's just Goff.
I can't stand Jared Goff. And the fact that the Seahawks, you want to talk about implosions, the Seahawks and the Cardinals, I thought that both of those teams would have been the it, but they weren't. And it's cool. It's whatever. But I mean, hey, we also learned something else this week. You don't poke the goat. You don't poke the goat, Chase Young. Now, I believe I did pick Chase. I think I did say that Chase Young was going to have a big game, but I'll tell you the truth, man. Brady still shows he's getting it done.
Yeah, no, Brady played really well, but shout out to Taylor Heinicke, excuse me. The dude balled out. He pretty much went toe-to-toe with Tom Brady in this game. And for the Bucs, that's got to be worrying about your defense. You let a third-string quarterback that played, 1 or 2 games in the XFL tear you up.
Hey, man.
And not only that, but he had an amazing scramble for a touchdown where the dude was this flat, stretched out, hitting the pylon. Incredible play from this guy. But yeah.
Do you think he's the future starter? Do you think he's a future starter for this team?
I think he's the future backup to whoever starts.
Fair enough.
There. Or he's the bridge or transition starter to whoever their future is.
So you kind of similar to 2022 draft. So he's going to be the bridge for the 2022 guy.
Yeah, if they don't get anyone good, if they're let's go for a skill position, even though they got Gibson at running back and they have some okay receivers, maybe they decide to go a different route. Maybe there's just not a quarterback that they like. Then yeah, he could be it's similar to what Teddy Bridgewater's been for Carolina. Fair where enough. They got him on a decent contract and there's just no other options for them out there. Not in the, maybe in the draft this year, but yeah, very quiet game for Chase Young. I expected him to have more, only 1 tackle in the game.
That's game planning, baby. That's game planning.
It's game planning. That is game planning. I was on record thinking that he was going to have a big game. I was excited for him. Yeah,
but the thing is, that just goes to show, man, that's what it is being a rookie, man. If you're going to be the big dog of the NFL, you've got to have those big games and big moments like Aaron Donald does, man. You got to. You got to. But real quick, back to the Bills for a second. The Bills and the Browns actually. Actually, I'm gonna throw a little. I'm gonna throw more of a shout out to the beers. Yeah, we're going into basketball now. But no,
beers.
The beers. I'm pretty sure that Norm Peterson would be their mascot. Awesome would it be if basketball was a real sport, J-Law? Would you? I would be watching basketball religiously if that was a real sport.
I don't even know what that would entail.
You've never seen the movie Basketball?
Basketball? Oh, no. I've seen that movie. Okay. I think I've seen it. Yeah. Okay. I know what it's about now. Yeah.
Yeah. If that were a real sport, dude, I'd be all over that. I would be all over basketball if it were real. Oh man, but for Chase Young, man, if you're gonna be the new big dog on the defensive side of the ball, you gotta have big games, even if they game plan for you. One tackle ain't gonna cut it, man. I remember back in the day that you would get. Remember back in the days of Madden, where if you got 3 tackles, you got like a trophy or something in game for getting 3 tackles. That's like the bare minimum, man. You got to get a bare minimum of 3 tackles if you're going to be that kind of a stud. You only get to say that you're a major disruptor on the line if you're not a first round pick. But he was like what, number 2?
Yeah, or also Tom Brady's not averaging almost 10 yards a pass completion.
Exactly.
If he's averaging like 3 or 4 and he doesn't have that great of a game, that's fairly close. Even if you lose, that's different. That means you're disrupting him. That means that he's like, I got to get the ball out quick, or this dude is going to eat me alive.
Right.
Wasn't even doing that.
Right. But I mean, to the Bills and to the Browns, man, these are 2 teams that haven't won playoffs since the last century. And 94 and 95 respectively, and they got their first playoff wins. And I'm proud of both teams, man. I grew up hating both teams. I really did, like literally, because I hated the Bills when they were good in the early 90s, because they trounced the Steelers a couple of times. And of course, being from Pittsburgh, you got to hate the Browns. It's a requirement. But
I like I said kind of earlier, I'm not over the moon with Baker Mayfield, but I will always root for him to succeed just because I see what it does to Colin Cowherd when Baker Mayfield succeeds. And it just makes me feel all good and warm inside.
Colin Cowherd
to see backwards hat guy win a playoff game, because Baker and Cowherd just have this intense rivalry. And I'm rooting for Baker so hard because there's nothing that there's nothing that can be said about it when he wins a playoff game. And like I had the herd going on today in the background at work, and he started talking about Baker. So I obviously like stop what I'm doing and like pay attention to it. And he's just like, "You got me this week, Baker." Because last week, during his predictions, he's like, backwards hat guy just doesn't spell playoff win for me. It's not winning. He's like, yeah, and then the dude
grips the best
plays fairly well,
best
gets it to his playmakers. Even if it's a little dinker to Nick Chubb, he dinks it off to Nick Chubb, and Nick Chubb,
my God, that
runs the length of the field.
Every time I see Nick Chubb touch the ball, I go, why couldn't we get him? All right,
there are 30 other teams that think that too.
I know, right? All right, so we're going to take another quick break. We're going to take our final break of the show. And then we're actually going to give our playoff predictions. And then we're going to talk a little bit about Alabama, Ohio State, and what that game could mean for the future of the NFL. This is the Tanndemonium Sports Show on Vendetta Sports Media Network. We'll be right back. right, guys, we're back. So now this is the portion of the show that I actually want to start calling. And you know what? I'm going to see if I can get someone to make us some, a little video thing, sort of throw in there. We're going to call it Tanndemonious Predictions.
I like it.
So right about now, we have the final four of the NFL going to Super Bowl love. So on the AFC side, we have, well, technically, no, it's not the final four. It's the Elite Eight. Sorry. No.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the Elite Eight. I can't count. So on the AFC side, we have Chiefs Browns, we have Bills Ravens, Packers Rams, Bucks Saints. And you know what? Let's bring Benny the Jet Rodriguez in here for this one. So Benny the Jet, I'm going to start with you. So what we'll do is that we'll start with Benny the Jet, and then we'll work our way around. Let's try to keep our predictions and why to just about a minute. So Benny the Jet, starting with you. Chiefs Browns. Who wins?
Chiefs.
Why? And who's your star of the game?
Okay, Chiefs Browns. Well, I'm picking the Chiefs. I think that is a go-to for me there. I think Patty Mahomes is just way too good.
Better be careful.
Like the Browns,
he might come after you.
I like what the Browns did in Pittsburgh, but I just think the Chiefs are the juggernaut this year, and I don't think anyone tops them. For the second game in the AFC.
Well, no, just sticking with that. We're gonna do each one. We're gonna do each one at a time.
All right, so that's my pick for that game.
All right, J Law, who you got?
All right, I got Chiefs, kind of similar. I think Patrick is going to have a big game. I think he's going to pick that secondary apart. They are a much better team than what the Steelers were, but the line right now is at 10 for Kansas City. So if I was a betting man, I would bet the Browns on this game, not to win, but to cover, because I think it's a close game, one possession game, but Chiefs come out on top.
You know what? I'm going to go against you guys, and I'm going to tell you why. I want Mapletron to eat his words. I want him to take those words down his throat like it is a fetish video. I am picking the Browns. I am picking Nick Chubb to have a monster of a game. I'm talking 20 carries, 200 yards. That Chiefs defense is just not going to be potent enough to stop him. Are they going to stop the passing attack? Probably. Because once you throw Baker off of his game, off his rhythm, it's hard for him to get back on. But I see him giving the ball to Nick Chubb. I see them feeding Nick Chubb and Nick Chubb just running it down their throat. I am actually going to call this right now. I'm going to say Browns 31, Chiefs 28, one possession, one score. It's going to be close. This is going to be the upset of the playoffs. All right, so sticking with the AFC, Benny the Jet, Bills, Ravens. Who you got? Why? Who's the star?
Personally, I think this is going to be the best game of the second round, in my opinion. I'm going to take the Bills here. I think it's going to be a great game. I think it comes down to the wire, but I think Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs are just too crazy of a duo there for them to lose again. Like you guys said, Josh Allen is definitely a dark horse for the MVP. Unfortunately, not going to be given to him, but I see him going for a couple touchdowns, maybe all to Stephon Diggs, maybe get one in there with Singletary. But I think the Bills come out on top on this one. And I'm giving Josh Allen star player this game. I think he carries them to a victory for sure.
Oh, he's your star of the week?
Yeah, definitely. I think he's. I don't know if they beat the Chiefs if it turns out to that in the next round, but I think the Ravens will be a pretty easy task for them.
All right, J Law.
Yeah, I think the Bills take care of business on this one. Josh Allen's going to be my star player too. Great week last week. This is the most on fire team in the league. And I just don't see how they can contain Josh Allen. I think that the Ravens did a great job with stopping Derrick Henry. They pack 8 in the box, but they let Ryan Tannehill throw all over them. Now what's going to happen when Josh Allen is the quarterback back there? Even though the Bills they're going to be down Zach Moss. He went down with an injury. They don't really have a run game to begin with, but it hasn't mattered because Josh Allen can extend plays with his legs. Big difference between Lamar and Josh Allen. Why I like Allen over Lamar. Lamar, he's a legs first, pass second kind of guy. Allen is the opposite. He's a throw first, got the arm, and what makes him deadly is extending plays with his leg. If a play goes for more, if he's in the pocket for more than 4 seconds, he's got nothing down the field. You got DBs 20, 30 yards down the field. He's just going to tuck it and run it, get a first down, and that's how he's going to tear this team up.
I agree. I'm with you guys wholeheartedly. It's a tic-tac-toe. I definitely have the Bills. I have the Bills running away with this one. The Ravens aren't a bad team, but they're not a good team. Are they better than the Steelers? Lamar, I think you're 100% on point when it comes to Lamar Jackson. I've never been a fan of run-first quarterbacks. If you want to run first, then you should be a wide receiver or a running back. You should not be leading my offense. And the problem with those legs-first quarterbacks is that as soon as things don't look right, instead of looking to second options or third options, they just want to run. And that is easy to contain if you have the right defensive coordinator.
And just real quickly, if you look at that Ravens and Titans game, Lamar was not a great quarterback that game. People are talking about how great it was that he got that win. Was not a great quarterback that game. He got it done solely with his legs. That's how they won that game.
And I think
the Bills do a better job at containing him.
Absolutely. Well, the Bills have a better defense than the Titans do. Let's just be honest. The Bills, and honestly, I think it's going to be the Bills. The Bills defense is going to set the tone, and Josh Allen is just going to pick that Ravens defense apart. The Bills defense is going to set it up.
320-yard game minimum
exactly
for Josh Allen.
Exactly. And also, I have Josh Allen as my player of the week as well. All right, moving into the NFC, the National Football Conference. We have the number 1 seed Packers with MVP Aaron Rodgers versus the 6th seed Los Angeles Rams. Benny the Jet, what you got?
I think this is going to be the worst one of the week, fellas. I think it is going to result in an absolute beatdown from the Packers. I think, of course, everyone's star player when it comes to the Packers, I think, is Rodgers. But I'm looking for Devontae Adams here. I think that is like them, like Allen and Diggs in Buffalo. This is in my opinion, the better duo in Rodgers and Devontae Adams. I think this is very one-sided game. The Rams have their issues. Jared Goff having screws in his thumb, not even expecting to play last game with Wolford getting injured there. So, yeah, I don't think this one turns out well for the Rams. I expect the beatdown and the Packers to advance.
J-Law?
Yeah, I agree with Christian. I think the Packers are easily going to run away with this one. My star is actually just going to be the defense, just because I think they're going to – or the Packers defense, excuse me, because I think they're going to step up and they're really going to give Goff some trouble. Rodgers is going to do his thing. Devontae Adams is going to do his thing. Aaron Jones is going to do his thing. They're covered on the offensive side. They're going to do all of their stuff. It's going to be the Packers defense and how they get to Goff and how they stifle the run game. And Goff, dealing with that injury, not sure he's 100% both physically and mentally right now. I think it's at least a 2-touchdown game, maybe more.
All right. Then our final game of the week. This is going to be a shootout.
Give your pick.
Oh, right. Sorry. It's the Packers. I
know what it was going to be.
Yeah, but the bottom line is this: the Rams, all they really have, they have a decent enough defense, but it's Aaron Donald and those other guys. And as great as he is, you can game plan for him. I think this Green Bay Packers coaching staff gets the job done in this regard. They've been doing it all year. I think that Aaron Rodgers just shows why he is the man, period, why he's been the man. And honestly, I think no matter who the Packers end up playing, they're the NFC representative in the Super Bowl, period. All right, so the final game of the week. This is going to be probably, I think, one of the more lights out games. This is going to be all offense, no defense. it's going to be the Buccaneers. It's the Saints. Benny the Jet.
With this one, I think it's very important to pay attention to each team's run game for this because, of course, we have Brees and we have Brady. You know what they're going to do. It's going to be a shootout from the start, and I think it really is going to come down to the fact that the Saints, with the two-header of Kamara and Latavius Murray, are going to have the upper hand on the Buccaneers, who are missing Rojo and Ronald Jones Jr., not likely to play, and relying on Fournette. I think really the duo of Kamara and Latavius Murray are really going to be the ones to bring the Saints to a victory. So I'm going to pick the Saints in this one, and I think my star player is probably going to be Kamara. It's either Kamara or Michael Thomas. I think both of them are going to have a game, but like I said, I think it really needs to focus on the New Orleans run game for them to outplay the Buccaneers and Brady for sure.
J Law, give it to us.
I think the Saints pull off the trifecta. I think they beat this Buccaneers team for the third time this season, and I think it's going to come down really to the defense. Last time they played, they were able to pick off Brady a couple times. The Saints were, and that proved to be a big game changer. Obviously, we've been talking about how good the Bucs defense has been playing in recent times, which although I think it's very worrisome that, again, you let an XFL quarterback do what he did to you, and now you were going up against a Hall of Famer now, granted a 40-something-year-old Hall of Famer who's probably in his last season, but I think I've got no problem. I think Brees is going to do his thing. I think Kamara is going to have a great game. I think Thomas is going to have a great game. What it's going to come down to is the defensive matchups on each side, the individual matchups, the Saints players against the Saints DBs against Mike Evans, Antonio Brown, and then it's going to be the Bucs defensive backs against Mike Thomas and Sanders. And I think Thomas and Sanders win that battle for their side, and then the DBs for the Saints win that side. I think it's going to be a close one, but it's going to be a really fun one, and one of these guys is going out on a high note, although Brady's probably not going to retire, but someone's going out on a high note.
I don't see Brady retiring after this season either. He's way too competitive. But with that being said, this is a tough game to call because these teams, in a lot of ways, are relatively similar. I think that, honestly, either one of these teams is only going to go so far as their quarterback is going to take them. This is going to be which quarterback doesn't make mistakes. And when you've got these two guys, neither one of them are going to do it. Both of them have ice in their veins. However, I believe that Drew Brees has the better weapons behind him. He has the better chemistry with his guys. You look at, Michael Thomas didn't look like he missed a game in this past Sunday's game. Michael Thomas just looked like it was just business as usual, and that's just the cohesiveness that is Drew Brees and Thomas. Yeah. Plus, I really think that this team is really going to take it another level for Drew Brees at this point, and I think that the NFC title game is going to be Green Bay and New Orleans, and that's going to be a hell of a game. I can't wait for that. Oh man, so basically, so we're pretty much on even kilter, except I decided to go against the Chiefs in this regard because I want Mapletron to eat his words. I want those words to be shoved so far down his throat that it's not even funny.
I would love the Browns to win that because that's a twofold for me, because that's going to be a big FU to Cowherd and to Nick Wright. I cannot stand Nick Wright. I do not like his takes. I do not care much for that man. And he is a Chiefs homer. He is all about Mahomes and the Chiefs. He already is like crowning Mahomes. He rides Mahomes as hard as he does LeBron. It's just like, I love Mahomes, but there's a limit, dude. There's a limit. He's crowning him the greatest of all time, and Brady hasn't even Brady hasn't even put him up for good yet.
Right.
And Mahomes has a long way to go because Aaron Rodgers won early in his career and hasn't won a Super Bowl since. Mahomes is early in his career, got an MVP, got a Super Bowl, but that could be the only one he gets. We never know because football is a weird sport like that.
It really is. You can have the best team on paper, but that don't mean a damn thing. All right, so that's your what did I say it was? I don't know. I have to give it a name and stick with it. I know it's a play on my name though, but either way. So those are our picks. I'm excited to see what's going to go on this weekend. All right, Benny the Jet, you can go still home. All right, so finally, let's talk a little bit of NCAA national championship. Alabama getting it done. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't all that emotionally invested in this game because I'm not really invested in college football. I need to get that way though. But 52-24, Alabama showing that it's still their yard, it's still their house, and it is what it is. Devontae Smith, 12 receptions, 215 yards, 3 touchdowns at the half.
Yeah.
So
Duke could have had 300 yards easy. If he doesn't dislocate that finger, he's maybe got 400 yards. Why not just keep going up, man?
Right.
That guy was playing insane. He made it look so easy too. Like it not once looked like he was running full speed.
I know. I mean, I saw one thing of him. It just looks like he was just gliding. His glide speed is too fast for people to catch.
Yeah, well, what happened? I think I know the play that it was. There's one that people are questioning because there was a middle linebacker that got put on Devontae Smith, and what happened was Devontae Smith was on the inside route of 3 receivers on the left side, so it was on the most inside, and just basically ran right up the middle. And and Ohio State was in the zone, and it just so happened that the zone he ran through was the middle linebacker, and in the middle of the middle linebacker's back pedal, by the time he turned around to run, Devontae Smith was already 15 yards ahead of him. I mean,
that sounds like Matt Spillane guarding Landry Jones, man. Man, so
it's like my 5'8" white ass guarding Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in his prime.
Oh my God. Shit, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar now.
Yeah, for real.
I mean, so let me ask you this. Now, Devontae Smith, he wins the Heisman. Do you think this national championship performance shakes up the top 5 picks in the draft? Do the Jacksonville Jaguars still take Trevor Lawrence number 1?
Absolutely, they take Trevor Lawrence number 1. I was kind of thinking about this a little bit today. They can't pass up on Trevor Lawrence just because you need a quarterback. The quarterback is the first thing you've got to fix before anything else. Mm-hmm. You know, they can go out and get good receivers later. This even in this draft, this receiving class, like last year and the year before it, stacked. You get some studs late in the first or in the second round, early in the second round, whatever picks they got, they can find another receiver if they want to go out and get a weapon. The Jets, the Jets because a lot of people are like they should move off of Sam Darnold. If the Jets were smart, they wouldn't move off of Sam Darnold. But this is the Jets we're talking about. So they probably will move off of Sam Darnold. So they're probably going to go Justin Fields. If they don't, I see them maybe going with the offensive tackle Panay from Oregon, possibly. But it would be kind of cool to see Sam Darnold. It's like, all right, we're going to trust in you. We're going to get you Devontae Smith. Now, but let's just pretend that the Jets are going to Jets and they're going to get Justin Fields.
The Jets are going to Jets. I love it.
And so that leaves my Dolphins at number 3. Here's what I want to happen. Now, we kind of alluded to it earlier about the idea that Watson may be moving. And I was even talking a little bit to Christian about this during one of our breaks. In a perfect world, now, if this was to happen in a perfect world, this is my dream world. This is Jackson's world. I make the rules. I decide everything. To be fair, I give a bunch of picks and Tua for Deshaun, but I hang on to that 3rd pick. You get Deshaun, you hang on to that 3rd pick, and then you get Devontae Smith with that number 3 pick. Mm-hmm. But this is not a perfect world. And I'm not holding my breath that the Dolphins are going to get Deshaun Watson. So I'm assuming that Brian Flores is going to stick with Tua because it's just probably not going to happen. If that's the case and Panay is there, then I would like to see them take Panay and then draft a wide receiver at 18. Or I would be fine if they decided to take Devontae Smith there at 3 and then got a lineman at the 18 spot. They took a lineman last year at the 18 spot. They can take another offensive lineman at the 18 spot. There will be someone available that will do a good enough job, because I would love to see, there's an Alabama connection there between Tua and Devontae Smith. I think that would be great. I would be all right, because since Miami needs a run game, he's not going to be there. But Najee Harris, the running back, if he was available at 18, I'd be like, yeah, let's draft 2 Alabama kids and bring them in, and let's just rebuild Alabama's championship roster in Miami and go play. Because everyone's like, man, this Alabama team's so good, they could beat an NFL team. Well, let's actually see if they could beat an NFL team. Let's Miami be the playground. Let's just get all the great Alabama stars.
Can we just move Jacksonville down to like college football status and move Alabama into the AFC South? and it's interesting that you bring up Najee Smith or Harris. He had Najee Harris, the Alabama running back, 79 yards, 2 touchdowns. Not a bad game. But
he's a man.
But if people don't stop saying the Steelers need to get him, shut up. Not happening. And you know why it's not happening? Because you could have Walter Payton in that backfield. Hell, you could put Barry Sanders in that backfield. That offensive line ain't opening no holes. Now, granted, Barry Sanders was able to pull off runs without an offensive line in Detroit, but not
getting to retire early.
Yeah. Well, he retired early because he wanted to go to a winner. He knew his time was almost up, and the Lions wouldn't let him out of his contract, and they were going business as usual, so he retired. But Najee Harris is not getting to the Steelers. It's just not. The Steelers are going to be picking, I think, 24th, I believe it is. And if that's the case, there's no way Najee Harris is there. He's not there. And the Steelers are not trading up to get Najee Harris. They're not. Because what do you have to give up to trade up? What, are you going to sign Bud Dupree to like a 1-year deal and then trade him? No. Bud Dupree is gone. Or you are not trading TJ Watt. You're not trading Minka Fitzpatrick. And there's no one else that you've got that you can trade to move up high enough in the draft to get Najee Harris. There's just not. He's not going to be there at 24. Stop it. What the Steelers need to do is get an offensive lineman. They need to get a stud offensive lineman. We need to start plugging the holes on both lines first, period. But I'm telling you right now, and I like what you've got for Jackson's world. I do. However, I think that, I don't know, man. I think that and we talked about this a little bit, if Houston is going to offer Deshaun for Tua and, picks, I mean, I do kind of think you go for that. I guess I don't really want to go for that. If I were Tua, I'd be pissed if they did that, because Houston is where you go when you want your career to die at this point.
Yeah. And here is my thinking of it. And again, I told Christian this. I said, I still believe in Tua. Even if Tua was to go to another team, if we were to trade him, if this trade was to ever become a reality, first my head would explode. And then I would immediately go buy a Deshaun Watson jersey. Like I don't really own jerseys because they're super expensive and I'm broke as hell, but my God, I would go buy that jersey in a heartbeat. Okay. But Deshaun Watson is now what we hope Tua becomes in a few years.
Right.
This defense has got a lot of veterans on it. It's got some young guys, but it's got a lot of vets on it. And that's why it played so well. I'm trying to find a perfect way to word this. It's giving up Tua means that you get Watson, who's a top 5 quarterback in the league, and he's got the stats to back it up. Mm-hmm. And he negates some of that offensive line trouble because he's a bit more mobile in the pocket, but he's not like a Lamar Jackson mobile where he's looking at the first sign of trouble to get out. He's extending plays. He's running outside of the pocket first, trying to extend the play. If nothing's there, then he'll go. Mm-hmm. Whereas, like I said, Lamar just like, oh, there's nothing in 2 seconds, tuck and run. But and Watson's already there. He's 25 years old and he's under contract for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
And that contract, it's a little weird just because it's been a COVID year, but that contract in 3 to 4 years is going to look great. Even though he's going to get paid $38 million, like back-to-back years, and that's going to kill your cap because they've got a lot of cap invested on the defense right now, which is why it's been pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a bargain because Josh Allen's not paid yet. Lamar Jackson's not paid yet. Dak Prescott hasn't been paid yet. There's going to be other quarterbacks below him that are coming up. Trevor Lawrence is going to be nowhere near a new contract. It's going to look like a bargain when it's time for the Dolphins. They've gone through the rebuild, and it's time to compete. They've got their pieces.
They're also going to make sure that Houston eats some of that contract too.
Oh, yeah, no.
Houston's going to have to eat some of it.
This first season, if the trade was to happen, let's say in the next month, whenever the season, because thankfully the NFL season, its season ends shortly after the Super Bowl and then begins shortly after the Super Bowl. It's not like the NBA where it's like you have the draft and it's before the season, it's in the middle of technically last season. So it's like this season technically ends after the draft, and you get into that weird thing where it's like someone's drafted by the Pacers, but that pick is actually been owned by 3 other teams. And it's owned by Houston or something like that. So you walk up on the stage, you put the Pacers hat, they're talking about you joining the Pacers, but it's been owned by Houston the whole time. You don't get any of that weird stuff.
Right.
But the way that it's structured, Houston would eat this year. It's like $31 million in dead cap. Mm-hmm. Dolphins could sign some lower end contracts to kind of secure up some of those backup positions or positions that you can kind of get away with that not being at peak. Because there's no such thing as a perfectly built NFL team. You have to have some weaknesses somewhere. You can just try to cover them as best as you can.
Right.
So you can kind of do that, and you can get away with that, and you can get away with going a little bit over the cap once his contract fully kicks in for the team.
I think I seriously do see. I definitely, as I've thought about it during the show, I do see. It would suck for Tua. But I think for Deshaun and for the city of Miami, that would be massive. That would definitely change the landscape.
They had a rookie quarterback coming off the horrific injury that he did. It's the same injury that Bo Jackson had that ended his career.
Yep.
And this guy's coming back and trying to play football. They had him and Ryan Fitzpatrick sharing duties as quarterback, and they won 10 games this year.
Yeah. Imagine if they had an actual real starter.
Starting 5 quarterback and 1 good receiver. You know what that is? That's the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's literally what the Buffalo Bills were this year.
Pretty much. And that makes that AFC East look way more exciting for the next couple of years.
And fun, because you get the Bills and the Dolphins twice a year.
Mm-hmm.
Dolphins,
that's a rivalry rekindled right there.
I would guarantee, if that was to happen, they're an 11-win team. I don't want to say automatic because it's football, but barring anything major, such as injuries or a meteorite hitting the earth and wiping us all out.
Nice.
That's a wild card team.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, that's going to about wrap it up for this week's edition of the Tanndemonium Sports Show. But we may or may, well, I'm just going to say it. Do you want to say it, or do you want to leave it as a surprise, J-Law?
I will leave it as a surprise.
All right, let's leave it as a surprise because you never know. Things could always happen. Things could always change. Just know that be on the lookout because you'll probably be seeing another episode of the Tanndemonium Sports Show this week. Real soon.
Little something extra.
Little something extra. And I'll give you guys a hint. It does have a lot to do with the op-ed that I ran last month where I called every writer, every baseball writer for Vendetta Sports Media to task. Everyone. And nobody had anything to say, either because they knew that I was right or they just weren't paying attention. But either way, I called them out. I was right. They're wrong. And they're being assholes. And you know what? I'm going to show them why not being an asshole is a good thing. With that being said, this is the Tanndemonium Sports Show. He's Jackson Law. We got Benny the Jet Rodriguez in the booth. I'm Brian Tan. We'll see you soon.